Whenever that craving hits for a good double-door dose of driving excitement, with today's new car market being the way it is, unfortunately, most people literally have to sell their soul in order to achieve such a dream. But you don't necessarily have to break open every piggy bank in the house to be able to have as much fun on a back road as you would on your daily commute. But that's why I'm back once again at BMW of Houston North, and today we're taking a look at this, the 2025 230i. And even though this one may not be nearly as high-strung as something like a full-fledged M car, rest assured that within its turbocharged four-cylinder X-Drive philosophy, that there still lies as much of that grin factor as many of us enthusiasts continue to crave. All right, so you're seeing it from my perspective once again, and we are finally in a 2 Series. Never been in the new one before. Actually, the last time I was in a BMW coupe of any kind, I was in a 1 Series, of course, the predecessor to the 2. But, of course, it wouldn't be possible without the dude sitting in the passenger seat next to me, Mr. Daniel, always coming up with the goods. And, you know, the reason why I think the 2 Series should still have a place in any performance car minded person's buying book is because even though it's a compact 2+2 and it only has 2 doors instead of 4 like the M340 that we were driving the other day, is that they're so affordable. I mean, if you really don't need any of the options, like with this one having the M Sport package, the premium package on board and things like that, I mean, these things are under 40 grand and you're still getting a solid performing car. I mean, B48, 2-liter turbo. We've gone over that engine about enough, but this one doesn't even have the hybrid assist, and 255 horsepower, 295 foot-pounds of torque. And I mean, it'll scoot. It doesn't need to move a whole ton of weight. And to prove the point, it's like, let's just see. You can hear the boost coming up a little bit more, and it's like, it's almost effortless in a way. It's kind of like one of those, you put your foot down and it doesn't necessarily slam you in the seat, but you just kind of feel it pushing on your body a little bit as you start to accelerate in the corners. Now you can understand why a compact car like this is so much fun, because the steering is so responsive, and it doesn't feel electrically assisted. It almost kind of feels like what we were talking about before, not quite completely analog, but close.
Yeah.
But close. So it's like, yes, it's electric, and you could probably, you know, pick at some cars for that. But I just think if you're going to drive a BMW, regardless of electric steering, hydraulic steering, or whatever, you need to have something that provides that driver-like feedback. And same thing with the suspension, you know, M Sport brakes, M Sport variable suspension. You've got the M Sport steering put through the M Sport steering wheel, which of course we'll talk about a little bit later. But it's like, it's not an M2, it's not even an M240i, but this is one of those cars that could still make you grin, like when you're just driving to work in the morning. You know, it's like, oh, you know, I'm still feeling a little tired. You know, I want to, you know, wake myself up a little bit. It's like you just leave it in sport like this, and it's like the excitement is there at any moment.
It's like it's the cheapest of all the series, but it's also the sportiest of all the series.
That's true. Short wheelbase. It's almost like how they designed like supercars back in the day. You remember it was like long nose, medium-sized greenhouse, and a short little tail out back with a rear-wheel drive bias. That is the combo. It's like, you know, so many people expect performance out of a super, not just to use BMW's terms, but a super sport activity vehicle, or in plebeian terms, an SUV crossover. But it's like, if you don't have to drag, you know, you and a whole bunch of people with you, this is a solid option to get yourself into. And even better, you know, for it being such a low-slung 2-door coupe, I mean, I don't feel like I'm sitting in a bunker. The windshield's plenty big. The side windows, obviously, plenty good size because it's all just one door. But then it's like, let's have a little more excitement here. You drop it down into manual, and you don't even need to give it all the way down. That turbo, it's like the moment it kicks in, it's like you kind of feel it in the lower part of your back. And it's like, this 8-speed is just, all right, it's not a dual clutch, but it's close enough. And you don't need to have like an M2 in order to have this much fun. But it isn't just how it makes you feel when you're driving it. It's how it makes you feel when you look at it, especially after this one receiving that LCI. Of course, you can't have the thrill of all that power and performance by driving something that looks dull, which is why the 2 Series definitely makes quite the statement for itself, especially now with this LCI version being given minute little updates and styling edits here and there. But this car in particular has a real spec going for it, and it starts with the Portimao blue exterior. It's absolutely gorgeous, and it sets off this car's sporty nature in just the right way. And it's complemented even better by the absence of the shadow line trim, with a little bit of gloss black going on around these slightly larger twin kidney grills and the black on the lower part of the bumper, but the silver around the twin kidney grills really just gives it that nice little extra something. Not only that, this car is capable, even in an X-Drive form, of getting well over 30 miles per gallon. 33 miles per gallon if you're talking about this specific car, and one of the ways it does it is without any form of an external grille pattern here on the twin kidney grills, but instead using the active grille shutters to formate sort of an inner grille design here. You notice the car also has kind of a cheeky face look to it. It almost looks like it's happy to see you, which is definitely kind of something you want in a sports car. You don't want something that always just looks angry and uptight. But also one thing you might notice is that for $46,000, there or thereabouts for this particular example, we are missing a couple of things that some people could do or do without. So in absence are things like the parking assist package, which includes things like the 360 camera, but that is countered by this car having the standard park distance control, along with a few other little safety features that should put your mind at ease when taking this car up to a little bit more of a spirited driving experience. And not only is the 2 Series one of the least expensive ways to get into new BMW ownership, but by far and away it is considerably one of the smallest ones at the same time. At a dead even 179 inches long, the 2 Series is about an inch longer than a BMW X1, but it's a full fat 7 inches shorter than a 3 Series. So if size really isn't your priority and you still only need 2 doors versus 4 or something even greater, you're looking at pretty much your only option right here. Now, the one option that I'm pretty glad to see on this particular car is with the addition of the M Sport package, we have 18-inch M-Design bicolor aluminum alloy wheels wrapped in 225/45 series Pirelli tires, completely squared all the way around. It does provide not necessarily the biggest flair in terms of eye candy, but it's definitely enough to let you know that this car still means performance business just by the looks of it. Now, considering we're talking about the affordable side of BMW's offerings, when it comes to being the most tech-savvy car, you're going to need to dive into the options a good bit in order to fit this thing with pretty much every gizwiz and gadget you could possibly want, which is exactly the reason why I picked out this particular spec here. It doesn't have the 360 monitor, like I said, but you don't really need that. It still has power folding exterior mirrors with blind spot monitoring. You have a rear view camera with rear cross traffic alert. And you also have a fun little bit of accessories, to say the least. This one has the convenience package, so you get the power moonroof, and you also get BMW's Comfort Access keyless access. Now, the key is a bit of a basic one, and it's also a bit older, shall we say. I mean, it's exactly the same one that we saw on the M340i the last time we were here. It has all the basic buttons: unlock, the BMW logo for lock, the trunk, panic, and the releasable key that comes out of the bottom of it. But the key design itself, well, like I said, it's getting a bit on in age. But unlike the 3 Series that we saw before, the new 2 Series has the flushly mounted door handles that so many people have come to love. So if you want to lock the car, you just simply touch the edge of it, or if you want to unlock it, you just get in like you normally would. And although this car might have more of a cheeky persona on its face, Here at its rear end, this thing is all about business. From the subtle little lip spoiler on the back here, all of the appropriate badging, including the all-important X-Drive badge for a little bit of extra grip, not to mention the fully reworked shaded LED taillights. But then you get down further, you have the park distance control for the rear, you have a subtle gloss black diffuser, and twin polished exhaust tips that, for a 4-cylinder turbo, actually don't sound as bad as you might think. And despite its compact sport coupe dimensions, that's not to say the 2 Series can't surprise when it comes to just everyday activities. Suppose you have, say, a decent amount of luggage, or perhaps you really went ham at the grocery store this week. Well, if you need to actually get a sports car with a good bit of capacity, just open the trunk on the 2 Series and suddenly you're facing down 13.8 cubic feet of cargo volume behind its fold-down rear seats. Now, under the floor, there's not really much to look at, so you shouldn't really even be worried about looking under there in the first place. But if you're somebody who, again, doesn't necessarily like to travel light, but doesn't necessarily need to pack the entire household with you, the 2 Series could very easily be that perfect companion, whether going to pick up the kids, going to the grocery store, or even going on a road trip. Of course, having a good-looking exterior, let alone a reasonable amount of performance for the money, are both very valid reasons for considering a 2 Series to begin with. But if you're somebody who prefers to actually feel like a driver, this is the car that I think personifies that the most. Yes, BMW has rested their laurels on every single product they have being branded the ultimate driving machine. But if you're somebody who really wants to feel more in the car rather than just with it, this is the car to really sort of bring that to light. I mean, you're not sitting in a nuclear bunker here, but the door sills are quite high, and you do have to look out over that beautiful curved hood in order to kind of see around you. The windshield isn't too thin. It's definitely not the worst visibility of any sport coupe I've ever been in. And of course, all of this happens after, if you're a bit taller like me, you have to duck your head to get in. But once you finally sit down in this car, the first thing you sense is these Sensatec seats. Now, yes, it's not the Vaganza or the Dakota leather or anything like that. If you want that sort of thing, spend all the cash. But again, this is about being an affordable BMW. And these seats are not only heated, but they are incredibly comfortable with just the right amount of bolstering. The heating also continues with the M Sport steering wheel that we have as part of the few little options on this particular car. And it's pretty much exactly the same one that you would find in the M340i, minus the red 12 o'clock stripe that we looked at a couple of days ago. It still has the same pretty authoritative pull to the silver painted paddles, which, sad to say, they aren't metal, but still they're just in the right place to make you really get involved with the car. And same thing with the buttons. There's no crazy adaptive cruise control or anything like that. There's just enough to accomplish the daily functions that you need to use. Now, speaking of daily functions, you can't do much of that without the 2 screens sitting up on top of the dash. The first one, obviously, a 12.3-inch high-definition display that contains your digital gauge cluster. And again, it has sort of that more aircraft-like theme. It's not circular or a more traditional look like you might expect in some other digital displays. BMW has got the unique factor down just right when it comes to just the central driving display. But speaking of central, look right in the middle, and you're greeted in this case by a 14.9-inch infotainment display with BMW's iDrive 8.5. It has the wireless Android Auto, wireless CarPlay, your reverse camera. Literally anything you need is all controlled just at one swipe of the fingers. And that also includes your dual zone climate control setup. Yes, just like the M340i and many other BMWs in the range nowadays, the climate controls are embedded at the bottom of this high-definition central screen. That includes your heated seat functions, heated steering wheel functions, if your seats are ventilated by chance. Really anything you need climate-wise or infotainment-wise is all buried inside of the screen itself. What's also connected to it is a bit of a interesting one as well, because we don't have anything like a Harman Kardon audio system or anything like that on board this car, but BMW still felt, you know, if you want some entertainment, it can still be there. So they gave the 2 Series a standard 10-speaker hi-fi audio system through their own branding, of course. And you know what? One push of that volume knob, and I wasn't really complaining at first listen. So you've got your tunes playing, you've adjusted your climate control exactly how you want it, and then you look down to the middle of the upper console and the central console here, and this is where I think a lot of the complaints of BMWs being a little too basic really just need to be put to bed. Because again, this is a driver's car. It's not supposed to be tech-laden with every single nuance you could possibly want. Yes, with this car you get things like ambient lighting, which again you can control through the infotainment display. But if you just simply need to adjust the way the air is being directed, well, BMW has given you little joysticks on these central air vents and even ones on the outer edges of the dashboard as well. You've got simple audio controls like your track functions, volume knob, and even a couple of little defrosting functions over here just to tie it all together. I have a wireless charger. I have 2 pretty simple cup holders in here with a USB-A connectivity port. I never thought I'd see one of those in a higher end car like this. And then the central command station just ties it all together. The scroll wheel and multiple different tabs all add that up. You've got your drive modes, your engine start, auto start stop, various parking assist functions. I mean, it may be simplistic, but it's all purely there so that you can enjoy the job of driving without being distracted by an infinite amount of technology. I know what a lot of you guys are thinking. You're probably expecting me to be able to fit in the back of this sport compact coupe, but as a good old 6-foot-tall Texas boy and knowing my luck with sitting in the back seat of 2-door cars, I'm not really expecting much. So let's sit my rear end in here, pull the seat back, and well, that would be comfortable enough, right? Except, well, I guess it remembered what position I had it in before, and kind of have to be a bit of a contortionist with this one, if I'm honest, if you're at least of my height. Now, this driving position, you know, not mine, but someone a little bit shorter was at play here, you'd probably have a little better of a chance having some leg room back here. But as far as the headroom, if you're somebody that's a bit more leg than torso, you may have to contort yourself in a bit of a head lean, and I don't think your neck is going to like that very much. But if you are somebody, like I said, who doesn't mind a bit of bodily deformity, you can sit back here enjoying your rear climate vents. No real extra storage or anything to speak of except for the middle armrest here, which you can happily enjoy your drink with a split-level cup holder, or you can be the guard dog, so to speak, of anything potentially longer if you fold down the middle section of the 40-20-40 split fold back seats. But it's definitely not the most comfortable way to travel if you're a bit of a taller person. For me, that all resides up in the front. And just like that, we have reached the end of our time with the 2025 BMW 230i. But before we even remotely think about giving final thoughts about this car, yet again, a big thank you to the wonderful team here at BMW of Houston North. We would not be even close to talking about the newest ultimate driving machine if it wasn't for their amazing generosity being able to allow us to work with their inventory. Now, if you like the particular car we've shown you today, or perhaps you've seen something even in the background here that you want to find out more information on, take a look in the description box below where I've provided not only the link to their inventory, but also to their social media where you can find out all the hottest things happening here in North Houston. But anyways, back to the 230i really quick. I mean, yes, this particular car may not have had every single option that most BMW drivers and lovers could possibly want. But again, the whole premise behind looking at this particular car today was to show you what really it means to have an affordable BMW. And that's, of course, without going into the pre-owned inventory, certified pre-owned and all that. If you are looking for a brand new Beamer and you really don't want to spend 70, 80, 90, or even anything close to that in terms of money, this is the option that you would probably want to look at. It's a great performance car, it's fun to drive, it doesn't even feel like it weighs that much, and it does have that bit of analog-like fizz that you again expect from a BMW driver's vehicle. But in any event, guys, if you enjoyed this review or perhaps you learned something about the 2 Series today, give this video a thumbs up, and also while you're at it, hit the subscribe button down below, because trust me, without the generosity of teams like BMW of Houston North, let alone all of you sticking around for all of our journeys, we would not even be remotely where we are to this very day. But at the end of it, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care, everybody, and stay safe.